Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's Travel Webcast webinar, The Space You Need, the Luxury You Deserve, brought to you by Honua Resort and Spa and Baxter Media. Presenting for us today is Dave Emery, Sales Manager for the Honua Resort and Spa. Hi, Dave. Are you still on the line with us?
I sure am. Thanks, Dan.
All right, excellent. So I can hear you loud and clear, but before we get started, I'd just like to let the viewers know that if you have any questions during the webinar, just type them into the Q&A box in the Zoom toolbar, and those questions will be answered after the presentation is finished. Also, if you have any problems hearing Dave or seeing the presentation, just type a quick message into the chat box. Okay, Dave, if you'd like to go ahead and share your screen, you can start whenever you're ready.
Okay, let's see if we can get that going here. Oh, there we go.
Ah, that's working. Great.
Excellent. Well, I'll go ahead and get going. Aloha, everybody. As Dan said, mahalo, thank you for taking time out of your busy days to learn a little bit more about Honua Resort and Spa in Maui. In the next little while, I'm going to go over Honua, and then I'm also going to give you some tips for your clients on things to do in Maui. I always like to do some destination training in that, and we do have time today to do that. So Honua is located in West Maui. So we're about 45 minutes from the airport, although the last time that I was there, I think it took me about 40 minutes in the evening when it wasn't too much traffic. And we're located in Ka'anapali, and specifically in the north part of Ka'anapali. So the international airport there is Kahului, but I'd like to just point out to you that we're only about 5 minutes away from the Kapalua West Maui Airport. So if you've got clients going on a multi-island vacation, you may want to look at flying them in or out of the other islands from the Kapalua West Maui Airport that is obviously very convenient to Honua. We're going to come back to this map when I start doing some destination training, which is the map of the whole island of Maui. But for now, in Ka'anapali, we're located in the north part of Ka'anapali. And agents are always asking me, what properties specifically are you between? Well, we're specifically between Ka'anapali Shores, the Aspen property, and the Weston Villas are to the south of us. So north of Sheraton and the Black Rock, just down the beach from there. So Honua is on a great beach there in Ka'anapali. Here's just an overview of the two buildings there. We've got over 600 suites in the two buildings, Hokulani on the right and Konea on the left. In this overview, we were still finishing up our landscaping 8 years ago, but I like this photo because it does show everything that I want to show on the property. It shows that we're on that great Ka'anapali beach. You can see the boardwalk going through the property, going up and down past all of our neighbors. Also great for walking if you don't want to try to walk in the sand along the beach, which is doable also. It shows our three pools, 4 distinct pool areas in our aquatic playground. And then the brown roof building in the center of the image here is our restaurant, Duke's, that I'll talk about in a little while also. So here's another view just showing that we are located on the slopes of the West Maui Mountains. So our mountain view guests and some of our resort view guests would have beautiful views of the West Maui Mountains there. And then again here you can see the beautiful Ka'anapali beach there. And the dark area of the water is actually a great reef. So I'll talk about that too. When you pull up to Honua, it is like any other high-end hotel-style resort. You pull up, there's valet parking to meet you, or you can do self-parking, but we do have valet parking. When you enter the lobby, beautiful open-air lobby, the front desk staff is there and available 24/7 to meet your guests. And it is a comfortable space there. In the Konea building, also, likewise, beautiful open air lobby. We usually have front desk staff in that building during business hours, but all guests do check in at the Hokulani building, which is the first building that they'd arrive at on property. We also do have a great concierge. So the concierge is there during business hours, 7 days a week, and they do a couple of really cool things that I want you to know about. One is they do an orientation of the island every morning. So it's like 8 o'clock, but think about that. If your guests are coming from the mainland, they're still waking up early, they're on mainland time. So going down there for an 8 o'clock free orientation of the island to get some coffee and muffins with the concierge people is probably still doable for them even on vacation. So head down there, go through the free orientation. If guests do want to book some stuff, of course, the concierges do that, but we do provide that as a service. The other cool thing that our concierge staff on property at Honua Kai does is they will schedule a 1-hour free photo shoot with a professional photographer. Now, every guest that takes advantage of this does get a free 8x10. They send it to them later on. They get to pick whichever one that they want. But if your guests are there on a special occasion or just their first time in Maui or something, have them go out on the free photo shoot. They'll get their free 8x10. If they want to buy a package, of course, they can do that also from the photographer. But our concierge team will set that up for you. Now, I'm not a big one on showing suites and rooms and stuff at properties, but of course I need to do that for Honua Kai. Here is one of our studio suites. The studio suites are about 600 square feet. All of our suites do feature a king-size bed. So in the studio, you can see the king-size bed on the right-hand side. You can also see that all of our suites do feature a pull-out couch. So you can see the pull-out couch on the left-hand side. So actually, our studios even sleep up to 4 people. You can see the fully furnished high-end kitchen in the back there. All of our kitchens do feature the granite countertops and stainless steel Boss appliances there. Now we're in a 1-bedroom suite. I'm standing in the kitchen there, peeking into the bedroom of that king-size bed. You can see the pull-out couch in the living room area, which is separate. You're peeking into the bathroom. Now, most of our bathrooms, all except for our littler Mountain View studio suites, do feature a separate tub, shower, and double sink. So they are all huge bathrooms there. You can also see the doors to the lanais here that pull back 100%. But this is one of our 1-bedrooms. Now, let's talk about those kitchens just a little bit more. For those of you who are kitchen appliance snobs, you're familiar with Bosch appliances. I think we have Viking appliances in our Royal Collection suites. I'll talk about that, which is our penthouse suites and our high-end, even larger suites. But the standard suites all feature Bosch appliances. And here you can actually see the washer and dryer. Every one of our suites, including the studios, does feature a full washer and dryer. So that's great for maybe guests only carrying carry-on if they're flying over there, because they can throw their clothes in the washer every day. Here's just a view of the consistency of all of the different kitchens of different suite sizes. But you can see they are all consistent. At Honua Kai, even though we are privately owned condos, all of the owner's agreements make sure that all of the units stay consistent. Something wears out, it gets replaced in kind. So that has served us so well over the last 8 years that we have been open on property, that all of the units are consistent. So as I mentioned, we've got those spacious studio, 1, 2, 3-bedroom suites, ranging from those studios, as I mentioned, 600 square feet to over 2,600 square feet for some of our penthouse suites in the Royal Collection. Now, with that additional pull-out couch in the living room areas, the studios and 1s will sleep 4, the 2 bedrooms will sleep 6, and the 3 bedrooms will sleep 8. And of course, that ends up being a little bit of a challenge for our tour operator partners to list our 3-bedroom suites, just because a lot of their systems only allow them to enter 6 people in a suite. So you may or may not see the 3-bedroom suites in the tour operator of choice, but we'll talk about that in a little bit more later. So here's a view on the right-hand side of those spacious bathrooms. Remember, most of our bathrooms do feature a separate tub, shower, and double sink, so they're huge. I know I walked into my 1-bedroom suite, a year or so ago when I was on property doing site inspections, and I walked in there and I went, wow, this bathroom is actually bigger than my living room in New Westminster, BC, in the Vancouver area, Lower Mainland. So it just occurred to me. So all of our suites do feature a king-size bed in the first bedroom. So the second and or third bedrooms in a 2 or 3-bedroom suite can be either split into 2 twins or kept as a king. Housekeeping comes in every other day. I do find that actually still a bit overkill. And if your guests need something on the off days that housekeeping isn't scheduled to come in, all they need to do is call down to housekeeping or to the front desk staff, and the housekeeping team will bring them up an extra towel or whatever they need on those off days. So you can see the housekeeper on the top there, but on the bottom you can see one of the lanais of one of our Royal Collection suites. Just a teaser for later on when we talk about the Royal Collection, our penthouse suites. So our views, our mountain view, this is one of the mountain view suites I was in a few years ago with the view of the West Maui Mountains and with some of the coffee plantations across the road where we source some of the coffee that we serve on property at some of our restaurants on property. Resort view, partial ocean view, and ocean view suites. We offer all of those. We do have a great fitness center on property that's open to all guests. We also have this gourmet cafe. This is the great place to pick up a latte in the morning, a muffin in the morning, sandwiches in the midday there, or in the evening, if you don't head out to the liquor store down the road, they have a great wine selection and liquor selection in the back there. If you squint, you can see that there. So that's nice to have Ina's on property. Just last December, about a year ago, we opened up a year ago anyway, we opened up Whalers General Store in the Kunea building. So look at the hours of that. They're open really flexible hours. This is a great place to pick up, again, coffee and muffins, snacks, sunscreen, souvenirs, all of that available at Whalers right on property. Now, I mentioned it before, but Duke's Beach House Restaurant is our restaurant on property. So many of you may be familiar with Duke's Beach House Restaurant, the original one in Waikiki, which is pretty famous. We've got the only one in Maui right on property. And I'll tell you, it's amazing I was able to get this picture with nobody lined up there, because usually there is a lineup for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So if I give you one tip about Duke's, it's I encourage your clients to make reservations no matter what time they want to go in there. We don't want them to have their final, dinner scheduled for Duke's on their final night there, and then find out that they can only get 3 o'clock or 11 o'clock reservations or something. So make reservations usually the day before is just fine. But when I'm in there, of course, it's beautiful beachfront dining. I was dining there with our team a year or so ago, and sat there during lunchtime and watched the pods of dolphins swim past, which was pretty cool. Now, I know I don't usually have to look at the menu the first time I'm there for an evening meal. It's usually the macadamia nut encrusted ahi tuna, which is amazing. And then I always end my meal at Duke's with hula pie. But my tip on hula pie is order one piece for 2 or 3 people with multiple spoons or forks, because it is huge. So don't get a piece for everybody at the table. And we do have a great vendor on property to provide kids' toys and snorkeling gear. But there's also a lot of great vendors in the strip mall right across the street from Honua Kai. So literally right across the street, there is a full supermarket, the Times Market, as you can see here. But in that same strip mall, there's a Snorkel Bob's for picking up snorkeling gear, maybe surfing gear for the whole week. A Subway, Hawaiian fast food, coffee place, Hawaiian shaved ice. All of those are literally in the strip mall right across the street. And we have a pizza place too. Now, our aquatic playground that I mentioned earlier, you had a view of it. It's 3 pools with 4 distinct pool areas. So you're looking here at the lazy river style pool, which is great for finding that quiet nook and cranny. Here's a view of all 3 of the pools there, and I like this photo, and I'll tell you why in a second. But on the far left, you can see our infinity pool. In the center left, you can actually see our kiddie pool. We have a water slide there, and then a really shallow section for the toddlers there to be with their parents. And then on the right-hand side, the lazy river style pool. And I like this photo because it starts off my destination training. You can see the island in the background there is the island of Lanai. So that was the Pineapple Island. And then the island on the right-hand side of this photo is the island of Molokai. So that's where Father Damien and Sister Marianne did their works. And Lahaina, just south of Ka'anapali, is really the only place in the Hawaiian Islands that you can actually schedule and arrange for day excursions either over to Lanai or to Molokai. So both of them are great options for your guests to do. That might be the perfect thing for you to suggest if you have guests who've been 5, 6, 7 times to Maui and are looking for new things to do. Ask them if they've been over to a day trip over to Lanai or to Molokai. Both of them are amazing experiences. So here's that kiddie pool with the water slide. I must admit, kids of all ages go down it. I've been going down it before into the kiddie pool. Here's that lazy river style pool. And here's the top part of the lazy river style pool that's now a quiet zone. So we don't call it adults only, but essentially it is adults only. So a nice, really quiet area on property. So our pools really do offer something for everybody. Now we're just steps away from that North Ka'anapali beach. Right off there, you can see it tends to be fairly calm there unless there's some storms or weather coming through. But, you know, that means that it's not good for surfing in this part of the island. So if you've got surfers that you're sending over to Maui, you have to let them know. They'll probably have to go to another part of the island just to do some good surfing. But for the kids splashing in the water, most days it is, fairly good and like this. And then you can see the dark area off to the left. That's actually the reef. So if you squint in this photo, another good photo of the island of Lanai in the background, you can see how close it is. The islands of Lanai and Molokai are both part of Maui Nui or Maui County. So the three islands together are promoted by the Maui Convention Bureau. But if you squint in this photo, you can see snorkelers going up and down the Ka'anapali coast there, just following fish and turtles and really enjoying the wildlife there. That's me getting out from having been in the water for a while. I try not to get too burned and forget about the sun on your back while you're snorkeling up and down the coast there. But I'm a scuba diver, and some of the best snorkeling that I do in Maui is right off of our coast there at Honua Kai. So it's in our name, Honua Kai Resort and Spa. But we do have a high-end spa right on property. And some of their signature treatments are in this Himalayan salt room. So salt scrubs, salt massages. You end up being surrounded by this beautiful ambiance of the backlit Himalayan pink salt. So great spa right on property, as you can imagine, since it's in our name, Honua Kai Resort and Spa. Now, we do have barbecue pits located throughout the grounds. This is a great place for guests to get to meet other couples. I was talking to travel agent the other day, and she was there a couple of years ago with her family. She said they went down to the barbecue pit the first day that they were on property, met some other couples, families actually, who were just getting ready to leave. So those families gave her family all of their kids' blow-up toys, their extra staples like rice and stuff, their extra briquettes, all of that stuff that they got to use while they were on property. And then when they got ready to leave, 10 days later or so, she said they were able to pass it along to other families who had just showed up. So a really good community atmosphere at our community barbecue pits located throughout Honua Kai. So I'll tell you a little story. When my brother-in-law was over there a couple of years ago, so it was my brother-in-law, Kelly, his wife, his two grown sons, their wives, and his two grandkids. Now, they were in a 3-bedroom unit. And at Honua Kai, every bedroom has its own private bathroom. And every bathroom is big, as I mentioned before. So a 3-bedroom unit is 1,850 square feet, 3 full baths, 4 big screen TVs, because there's one in the living room and then one in every bedroom. So this was the perfect vacation for them. Grandpa was sponsoring it, my brother-in-law, Kelly. And sort of their typical style every day was one couple would be down at the barbecue pits making dinner and barbecuing. Another couple would be taking care of the 2 grandkids in the kiddie pool and playing with them and going down the water slides. And the third couple could be having a nice romantic walk up and down the beach. I think they were there for 9 days, and I think they splurged once or twice and headed to Duke's for a meal. But you can imagine, Grandpa was sponsoring. They were renting a beautiful high-end 3-bedroom unit at Honua Kai Ocean View, and it was great for them not to have to eat out 3 restaurant meals a day for 8 people. So they rotated through that. So different couples had the ability to cook every night and have private time with the kids and walking with their significant others. So they still talk about it as one of their best vacations ever. As a matter of fact, my brother-in-law, Kelly, loved that vacation so much. He went back to Honua Kai 3 months later, but he wasn't going to splurge to take the whole family. So it was him and his wife, Mark, and they took their best friends in a 2-bedroom unit. Again, both couples had their own privacy, their own bedrooms, their own bathrooms, and it was another great vacation for him. Kelly's a big stand-up paddleboarder, and he said on the first time he was there, he ended up in the middle of a pod of spinner dolphins and them swimming past, and just sat down and watched the baby dolphins playing. The second time he was there in March of that year, a humpback whale swam right past him. So he just sat down and enjoyed that experience. So again, they still talk about those vacations. So let's talk about our Royal Collection. These are our high-end suites, typically our penthouse suites, but some of them are at ground level. But these are our larger suites there, huge. All of the Royal Collection suites do feature their own private barbecue pits right on their lanais, and the lanais are huge. You can see in the lower left-hand photo here the wraparound lanai for one of the Kamehameha suites. They all do feature 3 bedrooms, 3.5 baths, or most of them are 3 bedrooms, 3.5 baths. And just absolutely here, you can see here the Kamehameha Suite, 2,600 square feet of indoor space. But look at the lanai. The lanai is over 3,000 square feet of a wraparound, beautiful lanai. So something for your high-end clients looking for the best of the best. So I'm showing you this picture not just only to show you that the sunsets in West Maui are pretty spectacular, but if you squint there, you can see some whale spouts there that during the winter season, so like now, anywhere between mid-November and mid-April, the whales are there. They're giving birth in Maui, and they tend to hang out in Maui Nui, in the area between Lanai, Molokai, and Maui there. So those sunsets are amazing. The sun is always setting between the islands of Lanai and Molokai when you're sitting there in West Maui, and there's always a slow migration of to the ocean with their significant others to watch the sunsets there in West Maui and off of Honua Kai's beach. So once a year we do a getaway, and I think some of you are on my monthly newsletter where I have an update on Honua Kai. In that monthly newsletter, watch for that if you're getting that. Now, we are happy to work with every tour operator flying to Hawaii out of Canada. So Air Canada Vacations, WestJet Vacations, Travel Brands, Holiday House, everybody flying to Hawaii does carry Honua Kai, and we're happy to work with all of them. Just remember that 3-bedroom units may not show up in their online systems because they hold 8 people. So you may need to special request the 3-bedroom units there. So just a quick note here, Honua Kai does have a resort fee, but we don't nickel and dime clients for anything else. So our resort fee includes self or valet parking. So if guests want a valet park every day, that's included with the resort fee. It includes Wi-Fi access throughout the resort. I know I was there with the fam in May, and I was even getting Wi-Fi on the beach close to the corner of one of the buildings. Now, I don't want to promise Wi-Fi on the beach all over the property, but I was able to get it there. So it is good Wi-Fi in their units as well as all around the property. We have that great fitness center that I showed you earlier. We even include free local calls to make dinner reservations, call their buddies down the road, or long distance calls back to Canada are included. So they can call their friends at home every day and just tell them, how much of a good time they're having at Honua Kai Resort and Spa. We also give them a little starter kit with laundry detergent, dishwashing soap, bounce sheets, just to get them going in their condo experience. I guess if they had 3 toddlers and are doing 5 loads of laundry a day, they still may need to run across and get a box of laundry detergent from the store across the street. But we certainly want to get them going. So with all of our tour operators, that $35 a day is in the notes that you'll see, and it is paid on site. So just a few updates here for you. So a few years ago, there was construction at the Westin Villas, which is to the south of us. That is all done, the Westin Villas, and there's no more construction to the right of Hokalani here. And in the fall, you may have seen if you booked clients at Honua Kai in the fall, we had some repairs being done to the 2 pools at Konea. So the kids pool and the lazy river style pool, just doing some updates that were needed after being open for a few years there. So that's all done also. We were ready for the season. We wanted to have that construction done by U.S. Thanksgiving. And of course, we were done early. So our vendors were really good to work with. Now, one other thing that is new that we are just open up, there's a note on, all of the pools are open for the season now, is we're just now announcing that there's going to be some construction happening going forward in the back of the property, the open area in the back of the property that will affect our mountain view guests and some of our resort view guests, not all of them, but we'll be starting to see some construction that will be happening. We're constructing some villas there. It's called the Luana Garden Villas. And of course, as we've managed it for years when there have been some construction or pool updates on property or the construction at the Westin Villas to the south of us, we're going to try to minimize the impact of any guests. But this one should only affect our mountain view guests, some of our resort view guests as that construction starts. Well, it'll start next month, and it'll go through 2020 when those garden villas, the Luana project, will be actually done in the back of our property there. Okay, so something new on property, which is great. Most of you know when you schedule your clients to fly to Maui, most of them are coming home on the red-eye flights. So after they check out of their hotel or condo in the morning, they're sort of homeless for the day. So we opened up something in our lobby called the Aloha Lounge. So this we give free key card access to only guests who are checking out that day and have red-eye flights that night. So they get free key card access. They can go in there, use the sofas, the big screen TVs, relax in there, water, snacks in there. There are the lobby restrooms right outside the door. And then there are freshwater showers by all of the pools on property. So if they're in the ocean or in one of the pools, they can certainly rinse off, then come up to the bell captains, pick up their clothes, and then change into the restrooms right outside the door of the Aloha Lounge. But it's free access. Now, some of your guests may still want to rent their Honua Kai suite for the full day. But some of them will be happy to just have this as an option and not have to rent for a full day. Guests can still request to pay for an extra half day or for a late checkout or something. But if we're full like we are during the high season, of course, a lot of times we're not able to offer that. So this Aloha Lounge is doing very well and is greatly appreciated by many of our guests on those red eyes at home. So again, now I'm going to talk about some things to do on the island. So many of you may not have been in Maui ever or in a long time. And certainly I want you to have some tips to pass along to your guests. So I'm going to talk about the top 2 things to do for new guests on the island, and that is Haleakala National Park, and specifically sunrise at Haleakala, which is the main part, the national park and the main part of the main island there, the center you can see. I'm going to talk about the road to Hana also, which is, you can see Hana on the right-hand side, way around like a couple of hour drive from Honua Kai on the exact opposite end of Maui there. Also note on this map, again, that I showed you before, Molokini Island down in the bottom, in the center of the bottom of this map there. I'll talk about that in a few seconds. So let's get into that. So the road to Hana, that is certainly one of the top 2 things for guests to do while they are on Maui. Now, if I can give you one tip from the Maui Convention Bureau, for your guests doing the road to Hana, leave early. So it's a good thing to do on maybe their first few days while they're on the island, while they're still on mainland time and waking up early. Leave before 8 o'clock. Don't get up and have a leisurely breakfast and leave at 11 o'clock for the road to Hana. They'll never make it around to Hana. It's a long ways, and there's a lot to explore on the way there. There's like 50 one-way bridges you can see at the top to negotiate with oncoming traffic. There's some beautiful black sand beaches to explore. This is one of my photos of stopping at one of the black sand beaches a couple of years ago. There's some great hikes up to some sacred pools and some of the streams and rivers coming down from Haleakala, from the volcanic crater on that side of the island. So it's a full day adventure. Now, if they do it right, they get an early start. They'll get over to Hana maybe after stopping at those beaches and doing some of the hikes mid-afternoon. They can have a late lunch, early dinner in Hana, and then go out and explore the archaeological garden, which is the ruins of King Pialani's palace. It is one of the best archaeological sites in all of Polynesia, not in all of Hawaii, in all of Polynesia, and it's a self-guided tour. So I highly recommend it, and a lot of people will miss it. They got a late start. They may never make it around to Hana, in their day, and turn around and have to head back. The other thing is that's on the top of people to do is sunrise at Haleakala. It was a bucket list thing for me to do, and I did it a few years ago. It was great. Haleakala is high. It's cold too. It's over 10,000 feet, 3,000 meters, and it is. Close that little thing. So I did it. I went down to our. Let me close that. Feed coming in. I went down to our concierge because I didn't want to drive up to the top of Haleakala by myself in the middle of the night. I know that there are a lot of switchbacks going up there. So I went ahead and did it with an excursion. They came and picked me up at 2:30 a.m., snoozed, and while we picked up some other guests, we stopped at 3:15 for some coffee and donuts. We got up there before 4 o'clock at the top of Haleakala when the sun starts peeking up over the edge of Haleakala. The rangers, the national park rangers, are all native Hawaiians and start singing a welcome to the day chant as the sun pops up over the other side of the volcanic crater. It's absolutely just amazing. So And then as the sun gets up higher in the sky, you're able to see down into the volcanic crater. So I'm standing on one side of it, looking to the east and see the other side of the volcanic crater. You can see some of the old extinct lava flows there, some of the cinder cones in the middle of the volcanic crater there, but really amazing views up there. And you can see here, there used to be a lot of people coming up here. My one thing to pass along to you with sunrise at Haleakala, they've limited it now. For about the last year, they're limiting it to either 100 or 150 cars coming into the national park for sunrise. After 7 a.m., it's opened up and there's no limit. But so you have to go on the national park website for Haleakala National Park in the U.S. and actually reserve a spot. And you better do this for your clients several weeks in advance because it does get booked up. You can't get on their website the day before and expect there to be spaces. So what's becoming more popular now is sunrise or sunset at Haleakala because there's no limit to guests getting up there during the daytime. So that tip, got to go onto the national park website there. But some amazing hikes up there too during the daytime. Now, and the views up there are amazing. So I'm showing you this not just to show you that I dressed appropriately with hoodies and gloves and a tube there and stuff when I was going up there doing it, but that the views up there, you can see behind me the Hawaii Island, which used to be called the Big Island, in back of me. You can always see the islands of Lanai and Molokai off to the west, which are part of Maui Nui. On a really clear day, you can see the island of Oahu to the northwest. So amazing views. Now, for your clients that have been to Maui 10 times and are looking for new things to do, Upcountry is the word for me to pass along to you. There's a lot of stuff happening in Upcountry, which is on the slopes of Haleakala. So there are great farms up there, organic farms. There are wineries. There are the Surfing Goat Dairy that's up there with some great goat cheeses that are freshly made. There's also the lavender farm up there with some great lavender-flavored fruits and also lavender-flavored lotions. And Chris, who, from the Maui Convention Bureau, always told me he went up there and got his lavender lotion, which is a natural mosquito repellent, which is just lovely. So I was over there in a FAM in May that was help being sponsored by the Hawaii Convention Bureau and the Maui Visitors Bureau. And we stayed at Honua, of course, for a few days with 15 agents. And one of the excursions that I arranged was with Maui Craft Tours. They did a great job for us, picked us up in the morning, took us up to Maui Winery. So we tasted wine starting in the morning. Then we had a great catered lunch with Maui Craft Tours at the winery with some beautiful views on the slopes of Haleakala. So all of this is upcountry now. Then we headed over to Maui Ocean Vodka, where they distill rum and vodka right on the slopes of Haleakala in the middle of sugarcane fields at a great vodka rum distillery there. Then we ended our day in the afternoon at Maui Brewing down the slopes of Haleakala on the way back towards the Kihei area. So great. I think my favorite wine that day at Maui Winery was the pineapple wine. And then I'm not a big beer drinker, but at Maui Brewing, I think my favorite one, coffee beer was actually okay, but the pineapple beer was, I think, my favorite day. So maybe I have a theme going on there. So parasailing, other things to do on the island. You can do this, but not during the winter when the whales are there. They ban it during the winter. It would bother the whales. But if you've got guests there during the summer, which is also high season in Hawaii, this is me taking my camera up there, and you can see how tiny the boat is, sort of a Jurassic Park 2 or 3 theme, I guess, going on here. You can see the Sheraton, the Black Rock in the background. Pretty amazing. And I was able to see things up there parasailing like this 5-meter wingspan manta ray that people on the boat even didn't have a chance to see. Snorkeling, of course, all snorkeling in Maui is pretty spectacular, but taking out an excursion to Molokai Island, which is a sunken volcanic crater between the islands of Maui and Lanai, is a really great excursion. If the water is too rough, they take you to another area of Maui where it's a little bit calmer to do some amazing snorkeling also. But snorkeling is pretty amazing. I'm going to give a quick call out to the JeanMichel Cousteau Ambassadors of the Environment Program. This is housed at our kind competitor, the Ritz-Carlton, up the road, about 10 minutes north of Honua. But they have some great programs, some free programs in-house for kids and for adults, and then they have some excursions that they charge for. We went out on a kayaking snorkeling excursion. There were 2 guides with us and only 4 people. It was us and another couple, a father-daughter team there, to do some amazing snorkeling at places where people snorkeling off the beach wouldn't normally get to. So all of these are my photos there of just amazing snorkeling with the fish and the turtles there. So other things to do on the island, as I mentioned, surfing, typically not in front of Honua Kai in our North Kaanapali beach, but there is great surfing on Maui. Hiking, I've talked about hiking up the slopes of Haleakala and hiking in the West Maui Mountains. Stand-up paddleboarding, my brother-in-law really, that isn't my brother-in-law, but he did some great stand-up paddleboarding when he was there. And even some really cool zip lines. I took my colleague, my U.S. Counterpart, Marianne Lopez. She hadn't been zip lining before, so took her there about a year ago, and she got to do zip lining. This is in one of the new zip lining areas just north of, or right outside of Lahaina, so about 10 minutes away from Honua Kai. So the whales, as I mentioned, whale watching during the winter is a great thing to do. The whales are there between mid-November to mid-April, so they're there right now. And if you're in an ocean view or partial ocean view suite at Honua Kai, it's almost hard not to see whales. But of course, going out with one of the environmentally responsible excursion charters, such as the Pacific Whale Foundation, is always a great thing to do, and you're guaranteed to enjoy that. Of course, here we're back to the sunsets at Honua Kai. This is one of my photos there, just enjoying the sunset one evening. And just a quick reminder, we do encourage all of our guests on property to post their Honua Kai memories of their vacation and tag it with HK Memories for Honua Kai memories while they're on property. So I mentioned I do a FAM once a year. I'm trying to arrange for that this year in May when it's low season in Maui. But I had 15 agents over there last year from all across Canada. I had agents from Toronto up through the West on this FAM. And the one thing that I do as a minimum, people always say, oh, how do I get on your FAMs? Definitely be a Hawaiian specialist. So go to agents.gohawaii.com, become a basic Hawaii specialist. That's the minimum that I do. And then when I'm looking at applications, obviously, if I've got an agent who's sold us 20 times to clients and an agent who hasn't sold us at all, you can imagine, which one I need to go with for selecting for the FAM. So, support Honua Kai, become a Hawaii specialist, watch for the invitation in my monthly newsletter for our Hawaii FAM that I'll try to schedule again for this May. So just in a quick review here, Honua Kai Resort and Spa is still one of Maui's newer beachfront condominium resorts featuring spacious studio 1, 2, and 3 bedroom suites there. Remember, those 3 bedrooms may not show up in the tour operator of your choice. Consistently win the awards from the appropriate travel reviewers there, and all of the awards are listed on the Honua Kai website, which is, as you might imagine, honuakai.com. We have all of the amenities of a condo with all of the amenities of a high-end hotel-style luxury resort. If you need agent rates, I'll throw up my email there, and of course, Dan knows how to get a hold of me also. And if you do book us, do let me know about the booking with the name, arrival date, and the booking number, and I'll have a nice amenity set up for your client. So Honua Kai really does have something for everybody, whether it's couples traveling there for a romantic getaway, families, extended families, as I've shown you, friends traveling together, multiple couples in a 2 or 3 bedroom suite works out perfectly there. So let me throw that up to you there. So Mahalo. Mahalo for taking time out of your day to learn a little bit more about Honua Kai Resort and Spa. I threw up the website there, the toll-free number on property that does work from Canada. So if you do have any questions, the team usually picks up right away, and our Res Center can answer questions for you, or you can get hold of me. My email address is up there also. And with that, I will turn it back over to Dan.
Thanks so much, Dave. Awesome.
My pleasure.
Awesome stuff. So if anyone attending the webinar has any immediate questions, I invite you to submit those to either the chat box or the Q&A box, and those can both be found in your Zoom toolbar, which is the black toolbar that pops up on the screen when you move your mouse. Candace asks, do kids stay free? If so, is there an age limit?
Well, there are no all-inclusives in Hawaii, and Honua Kai is the same. So kids would count against that limit of the number of people in each suite. So, you know, if you're looking for a package deal from your tour operator, you know, check on their regulations, but kids do count against that. So my brother-in-law, when he was there, it was him, his 2 grown sons, their wives, and their 2 kids. That counted as 8 people in the 3-bedroom suite, which was the maximum.
Okay, thanks. Rachel asks, are there facilities for small weddings?
Well, we do have meeting space on property. We're not emphasizing doing a lot of on-site weddings these days. Our concierge is happy to recommend a number of great local wedding planners for the bridal party and the wedding group to work with. Honua Kai still ends up being a great place for honeymooners to come, of course, and for the wedding parties to stay, with all of the different size suites for the different size combination family units and stuff for people who may be coming over for a destination wedding. But again, we're not having many destination weddings on properties, but we're happy to work with local wedding planners to have weddings anywhere in appropriate areas of the island, and then host those guests staying at Honua Kai.
Thanks, Dave. And Heather says, fantastic property. We also had a great family vacation here in the 2-bedroom suite. A nice option for family of 5 and one of our best holidays.
Oh, that's great. Aloha and mahalo. Thanks so much, Heather.
Yeah, thanks, Heather. Sandra asks, how long does it take to get a reply when requesting a 3-bedroom suite through one of the tour operators?
Well, you guys are experts on dealing with the tour operators, right? Whichever one that is your preferred or that your go-to is. So probably the average would be it. But if you need to check immediately on availability, give a call. This 800 number, or the toll-free number, the 855 number that I've got up on the screen. Check on availability with the team on property. They can always give you a direct quote if you wanted, but they're always happy if you reserve it then through the tour operator. So it may go like this. You get an interest in a 3-bedroom suite, doesn't show up in the tour operator of your choice. You call the property and check and see if we have availability for 3-bedroom suites on the days that you're looking at. They say yes, you call back to the tour operator and say, hey, I just checked with Honua Kai. They do have 3-bedroom suites available. I know it's in your contract to be able to special request the 3-bedroom suite. So can you get me a quote on that? And then whatever their normal turnaround time is, I won't speak for the tour operators that you guys deal with daily, but at least you're armed with a little bit of additional information. And maybe you can even talk our res team into holding a suite for you, you know, if there's only one available or something, while the tour operator is actually just getting that quote ready for you. So again, it doesn't matter to us whether you reserve us through your tour operator of choice or directly. We're happy to work with you as an agent either way. So whatever way works best for you and for your clients.
Excellent, thanks. And Carol says, hi there, I have 2 couples going in April, but with ocean view. I hope the construction you mentioned will not detract from their stay. I was also wondering if Dave can provide something additional for them. Shall I just email him?
Yep, you've got my email there right on the screen. Send me over. It won't affect any of our ocean view guests at all, is what I'm anticipating. That construction happening in the back of the property. So we're not anticipating any kind of disruption for them. And you've got my email. Just send me over the name, the arrival date, and the booking number with whoever you booked it through, so our team can look that up, and I'll have a nice little amenity sent to your clients on your behalf.
Oh, that's great. Thanks,
Dave.
Carol. Rachel asks, what is the commission if we book directly with Honua Kai instead of an operator?
10% directly when we pay commissions directly to agents.
Got it.
But again, we're always happy to work with your local, you know, the Canadian tour operators of choice that you're already working with and are already used to whatever your set commissions are. So.
Right. Okay. And I'll just allow another 30 seconds or so for anyone that has a question to submit it. Velma says, thanks, Dave.
Mahalo, thank you.
Thanks, Velma. Frederick says, I have clients there right now, but I didn't book it through the 3 suppliers you mentioned. Do I have to contact you directly to let you know of the booking?
Well, that's only if you have a special request that you want me to note, like a, you know, if you want me to send them an amenity based on, you know, from you, then I would need to know the booking details. And it doesn't have to be through a Canadian tour operator. I know some of our Canadian travel agents do work with U.S. tour operators also if they've got guests flying either from the States or through the States. So we work with all the U.S. tour operators also. So if you booked it and you want me to, you know, through the resort side and you want me to send out the amenity, just send me over the booking details.
He says his question was relating to getting on the list for the FAM. I wasn't aware of that.
Oh, okay, wait. Well, you can send me an email also with that, and I'll add you on there and make sure that you're a Hawaii specialist as a minimum. Great.
Excellent. Thanks. This was just submitted a couple minutes ago. Rachel was wondering if there a way to know which of the mountain or resort view suites are affected by the construction at the moment?
Well, none of them are affected at the moment. They haven't broken ground yet, but that will be happening in March. They'll start putting up the dust surround around the curtain around the construction area probably this month, but they'll break ground next month is what we're anticipating. As I mentioned, it'll probably be almost all, well, it will be all of our mountain view guests will be affected and some of our resort view guests. And when we're able, we'll of course keep, you know, our resort view guests, if we're not full, away from overlooking that construction when possible. But it will affect during high season some of our resort view guests and probably all of our mountain view guests.
Okay, and in April as well then?
Yeah, I would imagine we probably will have broken ground then, so that it will be happening. Yeah, and the construction will only be happening during work days, during business hours, so it's not going to be 24/7 with noise and dust going on. Again, it will be respectful, so to guests on an open high-end resort at the same time.
Oh, excellent. Okay, yeah, Rachel says thanks and looks like a great property. I agree, Rachel.
Hello.
I very much agree. Diana says, thank you. Thanks, Diana. Okay, I do believe that's it for the questions. But Dave, I want to thank you again for presenting for us today. Thank you so much.
My pleasure, mahalo.
And to anyone that might have signed in a few minutes late, a recording of this webinar will be available on the Baxter Media YouTube channel, probably no later than tomorrow morning. So if you happen to sign in 5 or even 10 or 15 minutes late, the recording will be available in its entirety. Okay, thanks to everyone that signed in today. And Dave, thank you again for presenting for us.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, thanks. Take care.